What do you know about bees? Well, that's not a lot, is it? Would you like to know more? I can tell you more. I think you should know more so that you can tell others. And we can spread the information as far and as wide as possible. And maybe when I tell you what I tell you, you'll reconsider just how important bees are. I hope if you ever see a fallen bee soldier, you're tempted to pick it up and help it by at least placing it on a nearby plant. Never leave a bee in distress, okay? Just help when you can. Why don't I tell you a little bit more about bees so that you understand? Just sit back, relax, and let me explain. And we can explore the world of bees together. Bees are winged insects closely related to wasps and ants, known for their roles in pollination and, in the case of the best known bee species, the western honeybee, for producing honey. Bees are a monophyletic lineage within the superfamily Apoidea. They are currently considered a clade called Anthophilia. There are over 20,000 known species of bees in 7 recognized biological families. Some species, including honeybees, bumblebees, and stingless bees, live socially in colonies, while most species, including mason bees, carpenter bees, leafcutter bees, and sweet bees, are solitary. So, what have you learned so far? That bees are winged insects closely related to wasps and ants. Wasps and ants. And there are over 20,000 known species of bees. And can you remember that the bees that live socially in colonies are the honeybees, the bumblebees, and the stingless bees? And that the ones that live solitary on their own are the mason bees, the carpenter bees, the leafcutter bees, and the sweet bees. Oh, silly me. Sweat bees. such as bee eaters. Insect predators include bee wolves and dragonflies. Bee pollination is important both ecologically and commercially, and the decline in wild bees has increased the value of pollination by commercially managed hives of honeybees. The analysis of 353 wild bee and hoverfly species across Britain from 1980 to 2013 found the insects have been lost from a quarter of the places they inhabited in 1980. Isn't that just sad? Poniculture for stingless bees has been practiced for millennia, since at least the times of ancient Egypt and ancient Greece. Bees have appeared in mythology and folklore through all phases of art and literature, from ancient times to the present day, although primarily focused in the northern hemisphere, where beekeeping is in the South America. The Mayans have practiced large-scale, intensive meliponiculture since pre-Columbian times. Now, let's talk about the evolution of bees. The immediate ancestors of bees were stinging wasps. In the family Crabronidae, which are predators of other insects. The switch from insect prey to pollen may have resulted from the consumption of prey insects, which were flower visitors, and were partially covered with pollen when they were fed to the wasp larvae. This same evolutionary scenario was where the pollen wasps evolved from predatory ancestors. Based on phylogenetic analysis, bees are thought to have originated during the early Cretaceous, about 124 million years ago. On the supercontinent of West Gondwana, just prior to its breakup into South America and Africa. Think about that. Bees were thought to have originated about 124 million years ago. parachute lineage evolving into the Stenotrididae. And by the end of the Cretaceous, South American bees also colonized North America. The North American fossil taxon Cretotrigona belongs to a group that is no longer found in North America, suggesting that many bee lineages went extinct during the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event. Following the KPG extinction, surviving bee lineages continued to spread into the northern hemisphere, colonizing Europe from Africa by the Paleocene and then spreading east to Asia. This was facilitated by the warming climate around the same time, allowing bees to move to higher latitudes following the spread of tropical and subtropical habitats. By the Eocene, there was already considerable diversity among eusocial bee lineages. A second extinction event among bees is thought to have occurred due to rapid climatic cooling around the Eocene-Oligocene boundary, leading to the extinction of some bee lineages, such as the Lycurgini. Over the Paleogene and Neogene, different bee lineages continued to spread all over the world, and the shifting habitats and connectedness of continents led to the isolation of many new bee tribes. Let's talk about fossils. The bee fossils. The oldest non-compression bee fossil is Cretotrigona prisca, a corbiculate bee of late Cretaceous age found in New Jersey amber. A fossil or shallow, cup-shaped blooms pollinated by insects such as beetles. So the syndrome of insect pollination was well established before the first appearance of bees. The novelty is that bees are specialized as pollination agents with behavioral and physical modifications that specifically enhance pollination and are the most efficient pollinating insects. So, beetles were the ones who were first pollinating flowers. But let's continue. In a process of coevolution, flowers developed floral rewards such as nectar and longer tubes, and bees developed longer tongues to extract the nectar. Bees also developed structures known as scopal hairs and pollen baskets to collect and carry pollen. The location and type differ among and between groups of bees. Most species have scopal hairs on their hind legs or on the underside of their abdomens. Some species in the family Apidae have pollen baskets on their hind legs, while very few lack these, and instead collect pollen in their crops. The appearance of these structures drove the adaptive radiation of the angiosperms and in turn bees themselves. Bees co-evolved not only with flowers, but it is believed that some species co-evolved with mites. Some provide tufts of hairs called acarinaria that appear to provide lodgings for mites. In return, it is believed that mites eat fungi that attack pollen. So the relationship, in this case, may be mutualistic. Let's move on to characteristics. Bees differ from closely related groups, such as wasps, by having branched or plume-like thought to be Wallace's giant bee, Mega Chili Pluto, whose females can attain a length of 39 millimeters. The smallest species may be dwarf stingless bees in the tribe Meliponidae, whose workers are less than 2 millimeters in length. But why don't we talk about sociality? According by haplodiploid species, such as bees, because of their unusual relatedness structure. In haploid species, females develop fertilized eggs and males unfertilized eggs. Because a male is haploid, has only one copy of each gene, his daughters, which are diploid with 2 copies of each, share 100% of his genes and 50% of their mother's. Therefore, they share 75% of their genes with each other. Males develop from fertilized eggs and males from unfertilized eggs. Now that we've learned a little history about bees, why don't we just end on some fun little facts? bees have? Yes, 5. 2 large ones that take up most of their head, and remember 3 small ones in between. Okay, can you name at least 2 social bee breeds? Yes, honeybees and bumblebees. Can you name 2 solitary, non-social bees? Yes, mason bees and carpenter bees. You sure do remember a lot. I'm very impressed. Why don't you now remind me something else that we learned about bees today? Yep, only female bees can sting. What else? What is the thing that we learned about bees? Yes, bees cannot be found in Antarctica. You have a very good memory. Can you remember anything else that we learned about bees? I know a lot of the ancestral language was very difficult to understand and perhaps comprehend, but at least it'll be somewhere in the recesses of our minds now. And at least you learned a few facts that you can repeat back to me, which is more than you knew previously, and I think that that's worth something. I would have loved to have learned even more about bees, but I'll take what I can get. You know what I think we should